What's up guys, Brad here from Piney Grove, and it is a chilly day here in Northwest Florida. So chilly in fact, and I'm almost ashamed to say it, but I used the seat heater and the steering wheel heater on my truck this morning to go get some fertilizer. And right now I'm in the HISUN sector 750. When I was driving around, I was a little chilly. I looked down and remembered this thing has a heater. There's the heater, high and low. You see it's on high. I got heat coming out of that vent. I got heat coming out of that vent. And I got heat down here blowing on my knees. Well, let's get into this video and what we'll be doing today. We recently had a storm blow through, give us some much needed rain, and this happened. I've got a tree here that's blown over or partially blown over, so I want to get rid of that. I guess getting in there with the excavator and disturbing that soil a little bit kind of messed that one up, messed the roots up on that one. So we'll get in here with the Summit grapple, get that up and get that cut up, and then chip whatever that is small enough to chip. But I want to show you something else I got into the other day. I changed the chipper teeth, or turned the teeth around on the Baumolite forestry mulcher. And as soon as I did that, I wanted to do some forestry mulching, and I didn't capture any of that on film. But I got into some thick woods here. This is alongside our driveway. You can see it's pretty thick, but I couldn't get into here, but I was able to get in up here and thrash some trees pretty good. You can just see all the debris on the ground where all that forestry mulch debris is, and there's some sticks that it couldn't, or some tree trunks that it couldn't chop up, so I'm gonna chip them up. But I got back in there a ways, and you just see that it's overgrown here, and what we want to do is take out any of these small pine trees. They're just crowding each other. They're never going to grow. And just kind of daylight this area and let big pine trees like that grow. Actually found a nice magnolia tree in here too, so we'll daylight that. I was just mulching away. It was dark, or getting dark, and I kind of lost track of time like I often do. And Deb came out here to get me because we were going to go get some dinner. And she goes, "I can't believe you were working under that tree right there." And I saw that tree. This was all thick and just covered with brush. You couldn't, I mean, it was almost out to where I'm standing. And I saw it, and I mulched up to it and cleaned all this out, and I saw the way it was, and it didn't look dangerous. But she's like, "I don't want you working under that anymore." So I'm going to take that down. You can see where it had a bad spot here, and it was sending a lot of sap down there. See all that sap? And it high winds like that other tree, might have been the same storm, and knocked it over. So some of it up there we can chip, but the rest of this will just be stuff that we'll have to burn. I was planning on working on some other things, but on a cold day, a rare cold day like this, there's nothing better to warm you up than to grab the chainsaw and start cutting down trees. I got the Summit here with the grapple. I'm gonna see if I can just pull it down with that without having to cut it first. I don't know if it can do it. It's pretty solidly in there, so I don't know. I'm gonna work on the roots. Well, it's starting to lift it. I really didn't think it would do it. I thought I'd have to come in here maybe with the excavator and get it. It's weird how some of these pines are shallow rooted and some of them have that deep tap root. I don't know what makes the difference with them, but give a little more RPMs, try this. There it goes, it's trying to lift it. I think that's incredible. I think that is pretty darn incredible. As the kids like to say nowadays, I ain't even gonna lie. That's impressive. Looks like the roots are rotten. So I got a rotten root there. I probably hit that with, you know, when I'm in here cleaning up. But when you look on the bottom, it's just very shallow rooted. There's no long tap root coming out from there. There's the whole tree. I'm really impressed that the Summit did that. I didn't think it could. It's hung up pretty bad up there. I think I can pull it out though. With this wood chipper, I got plenty of ballast, but I still feel the tractor's a little tippy, so I'll see what I can do with it. If I have to. If I can't get it down, then I'll just cut it down But I'd like to get it out all in one piece for no other reason except for it would be fun, because it's not necessary to come out in one piece. Trying to get the dirt off of it. I think I can pull it out from the other direction. It's about to fall down. It's hung up in these trees, but not by much. Let's see if I can pull it all the way out. That's pretty cool. I might be able to one-piece it. I didn't have it balanced, but I think I can get it all out here in one piece, and that way I don't have to chip in two different locations. See if I can get a good balance here. Get the center of gravity. All right, if I turn just right, it should pull right out of there. I don't know if the driveway's wide enough. That's pretty impressive for a 25 horsepower tractor. Trying not to skin up any other pine trees as I pull it out of here. It's so wide, I don't want to skin that tree on the right side. That's a tree we want to keep. I'm going to have to bring it out at an angle. It was too wide for me to bring it out without skinning that side, so I'm going to have to bring it out with an angle. I should be able to grab it and turn left and get out of here. On that side, it would be your left side in the camera. Those branches will actually scratch the bark off of these pine trees. I don't care about that little one right there. There we go. Now I'll just go down the driveway like this and put it over there where I showed you earlier. It's funny how these things turn out. I had no idea I'd be able to move this tree all in one piece. It saves a lot of work. Put it over here and process it when I'm working on this other one. My dad passed away almost a year ago, but he loved cutting firewood. He just loved being in the woods. And he would say, firewood heats twice, once when you cut it and then once when you burn it. If he could, if he was still alive and if he lost his eyesight, if he could, he'd be right out here next to me cutting and chipping. But I got all this cleaned up and chipped into a sizable pile. That pile is probably 36 inches high 6 foot wide and 10 foot deep or more. And everything got chipped up except for that log that I carried over with the Summit, the butt end of it. That one's possibly chippable, but when they're that size and it's green, you really got to work them back and forth. And so those two are just going to go on the burn pile. But I can't say enough about this chipper from WoodMaxx, not sponsored, just impressed. We bought that with our own money. And the piles of chips like that have gone in our garden and that are scattered around our property are almost comical. Like, you can't go 100 yards around Piney Grove on any of our trails without encountering a wood chip pile. This is just fun to me, taking what I would call waste wood, a tree that fell over from a storm, and it's pine, so you wouldn't want to burn that in like a wood stove or anything because it has too much resin or too much sap and would create creosote in your chimney. So it basically would have went on a brush pile. And I cut down 6 or 8 trees off camera, but a good portion of it now will be usable as compost and in our garden, and just, you know, landscaping material to do mulching around trees and stuff. So I just can't say enough about the WoodMaxx wood chipper, but just wood chippers in general. Just what a tool to use out here. Now, in the beginning, when I was first chipping, a lot of those pines had the kudzu vine stuck in them, and when the actual trunk of the pine was getting pulled into the chipper, it would pull in the vines, and I was struggling there for the first few minutes. I wasn't very efficient. I wasn't getting very much done. But once I got through the vines and started chipping just straight wood chunks and branches, it got through the limbs a lot quicker, and then it made a pile of wood chips a lot quicker. We started this video talking about widowmakers, and that one's still there, so I need to get that cut down. I cut a little piece off of it just to get it out of the way. Not really sure how I'm going to attack that. But what I am sure of is that my chainsaw is dull, so I'm going to put a sharp chain on it, and then we'll cut down that widowmaker. The reason I'm doing this way instead of bringing the forestry mulcher out here and doing some more like when I first started is there's a lot of trees in there that I don't want to damage, and there's not a lot of space to work. So by removing some of these little trees, I'll have more space to work with the forestry mulcher to keep it clean in the future. So this is just kind of like the big job to get it to a maintainable state. I turn my bar over just about every time I mess with my chain. Most of your cutting is on the bottom side of your bar, and you're pushing down. And when you're pushing down, the chain is riding against the groove in the bar, and it'll give you, it'll widen this bar, it'll heaten the bottom of it, it'll give you a burr. And by turning it over, you'll just alternate that pressure, that downward pressure, to a different side of the bar. And you'll get more life out of your bar. It won't heat it up as much, and it costs you nothing, absolutely nothing, to turn your bar over. All right, as I look at this tree, I think a lot of the weight wants to come this way. So I think if I stand over there where I have an exit that way, I can cut it and get this butt end on the ground. And once I get this butt end on the ground, then I can probably grab it with a grapple or just chunk it up and pull it out, because all that's too big for the chipper till we get up to the top. I don't see what else to do with it. I don't think there's any danger of it going that way, but I'll give myself a good exit. I think if I stay behind these pine trees over here, nothing will happen to me. All right, here we go. Oh, that was cool. All right, it did what I thought it would do. The tractor get a little light. Anytime you don't break the tractor or break yourself, call that a win. Let me help you out there, Summit. We'll keep doing that, just keep pulling it out. I think I can chip it from that part forward. cut a few of those trees, I'll pull them out with the grapple. It's hard to work around in there. I've got no room, and I don't want to scratch that oak tree or that big pine tree. And I've got like a half cut off pine that's hung up in that oak tree there. I'm going to try and pull it down by hand and then see if I can get it with the grapple. Try not to break the top out of that oak. I think if I push down with the grapple, I can push it away from that oak. That worked great. Saved the oak. You can see where this pine tree has grown around the other pine tree. Check back in 10 years. Let's see if this oak tree, now that it has room to grow, let's see if it flourishes. Let's see if it comes out. Got it right in the chipper. All right, let's chip it up. That last bit of pine needles might have bound it up. I didn't see any discharge, so I might have to take that apart, turn everything off, of course, and pull those pine needles out. That's going to do it for today's video, folks. We got the 2 Widowmakers down, and we did a lot of cleanup here along the side of our driveway. I've still got some more to do, but that's going to be the end of the video. So until next time, y'all take care out there, and remember, life's short, tractor hard.